Hello, everyone, and welcome to Emily Plays Chess with round two of the Alto tournament in Charlotte. They just started their games. Hi, my name's Joe, and I'm excited to see what Emily has in store for us today. We watched her yesterday get a dramatic draw in her first round. So she's still looking for her first win. She's got the white pieces here against Kenny Campbell. Not sure their ratings. I probably could have looked that up. I also feel that I probably started a little early. They are on a delay, so I think the games haven't quite started online yet. So I might pause it and wait for the moves to roll in. Thank you, Senpai. Um, okay, so Emily, this looks like a d4 opening. The queen's pawn, if I'm not mistaken. And was that d6 played by black? And then the knights come out? Perhaps. And now e4. Okay, I like it. I love having the e pawn involved 2 squares forward. So we've got e4 and d4. So this kind of, you could say, transposes maybe like if you had played e4 d6, it's kind of like a Pirtz, if I'm not mistaken. What's up, Fly? Good to see you. Okay, now opponent's going to go for a fianchetto. So a little bit of a passive opening for black. And yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out for the games on online. Let's see. Because it should be starting. Anyways. All right, not a big deal. We have the camera feed. You guys wouldn't be mad at me if I paused the stream for like for like 3 minutes. Okay, I like this so far, so good. What's up, Chess Weave? Good to see you, dude. Emily from Netherlands? No, this is Emily from Charlotte. She's playing with Dina, and I think Ben Feingold's there too. I don't know if Danya's there. Probably not. I mean, Danya is in. Actually, I don't know if Danya's in Charlotte. His stream, I think last night he was like somewhere else. So maybe he's traveling. But this is the Alto tournament, which I learned stands for uh, at least 21. So that's exciting. Okay, that looks like c6, which is a very peculiar move. Not fianchettoing. I like queen d2 and castles long. Love queen d2 in general, just lining up with the bishop. Assuming black goes for the fianchetto, she can try to trade off that minor piece. Thank you, Ben. Yes, happy weekend to everyone. Danya is not Dutch. Kids under 21 are the scariest. Yeah, that's why all the adults here have rallied to play only amongst fellow adults. No one under 21 allowed. So all of these people, I guess they checked the ID at the door, and now they can drink alcohol. So I see our opponent has a Monster energy drink. What Emily has in her drink, I'll let you guys figure that one out. What's up, Chalato? It's just fair. All right, and now we have a pawn push here in the center. This is kind of offering a queen trade, right? Attacking the knight. Knight's gonna have to move at some point, but I don't like trading queens. Actually, I should turn on eval. I know not everyone likes to have the eval on, but I'm assuming Emily will recapture that is a possibility, Fly, and I'm sure that the event organizers had a plan for that. Most likely, checking the ID helps, although you could argue it's possible to get a fake ID. But for the most part, the authorities should have a firm grasp of confirming the validity of people's ages and their ID cards. But I have seen a movie where someone not over the age of 21 was able to get an ID that said that they were 25, I believe. So, who knows? It could be possible. You're guessing she has boba? Yeah, that is a thick straw. Usually, straws that thick are good for those boba pearls. But I imagine it's probably not boba because usually when you get boba, you buy it and it comes in like a cup already. All right, Emily, waiting for her opponent to move. Her opponent has a Buffalo Bills hat, and I apologize for covering him up in almost entirely with my camera and the chessboard. But maybe he doesn't want to be on camera. I'm not sure if we've considered this. What's up, Cash Carbon? Good to see you. Shout out to Cash. Here she's taking a sip from her boba. Okay, so opponent does not trade queens. Elects to trade knights instead. Computer likes queen d4. This is a common idea whenever c6 has been played because this knight usually likes to go to c6 and doesn't have that option now. Also, queen d6 lines up a potential discovery. Not bad. More Stanley Cups. Yes. I don't know if you want me to go into this right now, Chessweed, but man, the Blues played a heck of a game 2 days ago. Thursday night. It was so good. Anyways, I'm still actually not seeing the the boards updating. Oh, round 1. Hold on. Maybe I can find round 2. That would maybe be optimal. I was sent the round 1 link, so no, but it's my fault. Boards round 2. Here we go. All right. I pulled up the board. Yeah, we are a little bit ahead of the delay. So we're only slightly delayed. We're not fully delayed. Some would say that we're more on time. Okay. I'm going to have to mute these noises. Yes, good luck to Emily. We're wishing her the best of luck. There is going to be another round later today. And there's also going to be a round tomorrow, at least, that I'm aware of. However, I will not be back tomorrow, but I will cover round 3 later today. I believe that is at 4 p.m. Eastern, which is in quite some time from now. I did not go to the game in person, but I did watch it live. Okay, so we have a move here played. She steps her queen up 1 square. She's making sure she's covering the knight in case we see the trade. Also, it's very possible that Emily will trade queens and then recapture. I would not be the biggest fan of that endgame, as it would potentially damage our pawn structure. What's up, Tish? Good to see you, dude. Huge shout out to Tish. Happy Saturday. You know, another great day for chess. I like to say that every day is a great day for chess. I don't know if I've ever said that, but I'm saying it now. Welcome in. Tish is a man that many people probably don't know, but has a lot to do with the sharing and growing of chess online. So we appreciate seeing Tish around. Did you ever have a chance to check why you're banned? That's a great question. I I did not yet do that, but I will. So I apologize. What's up, Tagbon? Good to see you. We love tempura. That's true. What is the opponent's rating? That is a great question. Magnus is stunt double. Good to have you. Big fan of your work. Always appreciate it. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you being here and being kind. Love getting credit for putting on a shirt. I could have not worn a shirt, that's true. But I figured today would be a good day to wear a shirt. Just like how today's a good day to play chess, which Emily is doing as well. Not everyone looks at their weekend ahead and says, you know what I'm going to do on my time off? I'm going to go play some chess. And not only that, Emily's streaming chess, which is double exciting. It might be even more exciting. I don't know. What's more exciting, playing chess or streaming? And luckily for us, Emily decided why not both. Emily's also wearing a shirt. It is true. It's not too late. That's also a fun fact, Chelato. I agree. So, who knows? Stay tuned. Okay, we have a queen move from our opponent. So our opponent decided no queen trade for them. And now they've decided that they want to put their queen to the use. We have queen to a5 having been played, putting some pressure along this diagonal, as well as potentially some tricks along the 5th rank. I suspect Emily will trade knights at this point, and we might see the queen trade finally. But yeah, it's not clear. So I don't think she wants to allow this capture. The only other possible move I would consider is knight g to e2, connecting the knights, making sure that we don't damage our pawn structure. In the meantime, maybe I can look up the USCF ratings of both players and maybe answer the age-old question of what are their ratings. Potentially somebody in the chat already knows. Potentially. This is something I probably could have done earlier. So I'll do it now. Okay, Kenny Campbell. Looks like regular rating is 990. So you know what? I can just go ahead and add that. I love that for the white player, I put Emily plays chess, one word, and then the game says that it's actually her full name, 3 words. So that's fun. If I hit save, is it gonna... Yeah. All right. That's fine. Does anyone know Emily's rating off the top of their head? Maybe I could just look it up myself. $1,047. Okay, we're getting a huge raid. Thank you, Speed Chess. Welcome in. I should maybe turn off my alerts. I don't know. But you know what? That's fine. Shout out to Speed Chess. I appreciate you being here. Welcome in. Welcome one and welcome all. We're watching Emily's round 2 of the Alto tournament in Charlotte. I assume it's Charlotte. Dina's playing there as well, and so is Ben Feingold, which is exciting. Always a pleasure to have Ben in the scenes. Her middle name is Plays. Okay, that is a fun. Emily Plays Higgins, I guess, is the full legal name. Did Emily took the draw? Yeah, it was a draw. It was not a broadcast error. That game ended in a draw. Okay. So Emily has played her move. She's castled. She's castled queenside. So now this actually allows for knight takes pawn. Emily's doubling up on the d file, queen and rook. And this would be a lovely checkmate. However, the queen covers her home square. So that is where she came from. You're shocked to see the castle. Well, yes, knight takes, and this potentially damages her pawn structure. If she tries to keep the battery alive, she could take with the pawn, but with her king on c1, this is not so pleasant because now she's going to get potentially checked. But this could be something that Emily's hoping for, because after the queen comes to a3, guess what? It's not guarding the checkmate on d8. Whether or not the opponent would actually fall for that is yet to be seen. It seems unlikely, but who knows? This could be the fastest game of the round, which would be fun. And then we get to all have a little bit of a break. Okay, so we do see knight trade the capture on c3. Now, big moment of truth here. Emily should take with the queen. And then black would most likely queen trade. But she does have the option to take with the pawn. She could also not take it because the knight's technically pinned right now. Although knight takes on a2 check is probably pretty annoying. So, yeah, I'm expecting she'll probably take with a queen. That is the best move, but she's probably not going to be too happy about it. So, yeah, she might have thought that she was pinning the knight. It's possible. But no, the knight was not pinned. She was not threatening mate as the queen guards d8. You'd like to see Emily play Dina. You should check out their Instagrams. They've made some clips together, some highlights, some reels, I should say. Dina's streaming right now as well. Yeah, Dina is also playing in this same tournament. So it turns out both Emily and Dina are both over the age of 21, as verified by their participation in this Alto tournament. I've never played in an Alto tournament. I don't know if they're all called Alto or if they just named this one Alto. I don't know how many clubs consistently run these events, but shout out to them. It seems that they've been beaten up by too many kids, and so they've added age requirements. Although I do see some genes, so they haven't limited the genes yet. I think that ban has been lifted. Shout out to Magnus Carlsen's stunt double. Many people were worried that FIDE was going to rough up Magnus after wearing jeans, but luckily it was his stunt double wearing the jeans, so Magnus was never in any harm. What's up, Blood Queen? It's early for Blood Queen. Shout out to Blood Queen. Fantastic job commentating yesterday, and then also did a lesson afterwards. So Blood Queen is a busy queen. Why is she awake? I mean, it's past 8 a.m. It is Saturday, that is true. Puppy yoga, wow. Are you doing the yoga and there's puppies involved, or are the puppies doing the yoga? Wow, Emily takes with the pawn. Bold. Bold. Questionable, but bold. I like it because I love keeping the queens on the board. It's the most aggressive attacking piece. Emily is being aggressive with a capital A. It could backfire, but they say fortune favors the bold. So, fingers crossed this works out. Her king is completely open now. But this check probably isn't very good. Yeah, king b1, and actually it likes white now again. The queen should go back to a5. So, um, yeah, and that check is very tempting, right? When they tell you the hierarchy of what moves to look for, they start with checks. Checks, captures, threats. Another move, this is a capture. Oh no, my queen, or oh no, my pawn. That it comes with a tempo. Not really. It's defended. So we'll see. Emily is setting a trap for her opponent. Your dog knows downward dog. That's probably more than most. I was gonna say dogs, but probably more than most people. Yes, we love giving shout outs. Okay, and the bishop comes out. So bishop to e6. This is what I would consider a strong move, a good move. Because now queen a3 will follow up with actually a checkmate. So this diagonal is a problem. This king weakness is a problem. We have a mate threat on the board. Just to show you all. Oh, so let's say h3. Check, only legal move. And now we take on a2 with the queen. Again, only legal move. And queen a1 ends the game. So Emily, she was trying to start a little mate threat of her own. Instead, we have black returning the favor. So the best move here is actually to offer the queen trade again, playing c4, blocking the diagonal, opening up the queens. And at that stage, I think, actually no, black could still in their greed try to go for mate. Now that their plan has changed, you see threatening mate in 1 and getting mated in 1. So black could step wrong here in many ways. There are many ways to lose. According to Stockfish, there are many ways to win as well for black. But I would venture as far as to say that there's many more ways to lose than to win. So I'm liking Emily's chances, regardless of what the eval bar says. Sometimes you have to remain optimistic. You have to believe. This game is still very young. Emily's probably regretting not trading queens earlier. Some would call this hope chess. Some. Not all. Some would say that this is masterfully planned. Maybe fewer would say that, but some would still say it. who you would believe. You have to decide. Okay, c4 has been played. Queen trade offer. Black shouldn't trade queens, but they also shouldn't take this pawn. They shouldn't stray too far away from d8. Emily has her hopes alive, as we all should. Interestingly, Black hasn't blundered the mate yet in previous moves when they had ample opportunity to do it. But sometimes when you avoid certain threats, you forget about them. I'm speaking from personal experience. Wow, Papa Botes in the chat. Huge shout out to Papa Botes. I was watching Alex play some bullet yesterday. I think she hit 2,400 again. So that was good to see. I tried getting my bullet back over 2,300 and I got within one game and then it was a plummet. So that was fun. Yes, Queen A3 is the best move. This is over a +2 evaluation for Black. The next best move would be Queen back to C7. And that's only -1. So anything else, and it's actually still fairly even. Queen takes D2, for example, would be the third best move. Okay, so opponent did not give A3 check. As Papa Botes indicated, knight D7 would have been a very solid move to block the D file. And the check would keep a lot of the attacks alive. Instead, Black opts for Queen to C7. So this move is a little bit more passive, and this gives Emily some chances to come back into the game. So computer really likes F4, but I wouldn't worry too much about this pawn, as the pawn is not actually hanging. Black could have taken that pawn and blundered right away. It's funny, both of these pawns, the queen could have grabbed and threatened mate and won, but both pawn grabs would blunder mate and won. So it's a delicate balance between getting mated and delivering mate. And Emily is definitely tiptoeing the line. The opponent has taken every step with caution, hasn't blundered yet, but a blunder perhaps is on the agenda, as our opponent is below 1,000 USCF. So it's hard to play a perfect game for anyone, especially hard if you're still trying to, learn some openings. This is definitely not theory of any sort. Okay, C3 now played. I would probably develop some of these pieces, but Emily has a plan. She's sticking to it. She has an idea. What that idea is ain't exactly clear. The good news is queen on A1 would no longer be mate. So at some point, like knight D7, for example, where D8 isn't threatened, then the pawn actually is hanging, and this is a good diagonal. So bishop G7 actually is a very natural move. Knight D7 and bishop G7, these are good moves for Black. Both just putting immediate pressure on E5, over attacking. I think Emily still has her fingers crossed. The queen will take the pawn, but I think at this point it's fairly clear the opponent hasn't blundered it yet. Still doesn't mean that they will blunder it, but what's the reason for C3? I am not sure. Knight to D7 has been played, so a solid move from our opponent. Emily did say that she was open for an interview after the match, so hopefully if people have questions for Emily. We can go into some of her thought processes after the game. So we'll see. But yeah, c3, you give a little bit more space to the king. The queen opens up a little bit. So there's some additional flexibility here. Here, I would consider f4, knight f3. Computer previously said f4 was the best move before she played c3. Now it's not recommending f4. So f4, and I'm wondering, maybe there's maybe a pawn push to dislodge this bishop. And the bishop does have an escape square, but it's not entirely clear. So we'll see what Emily decides to go with. This pawn is hanging now that there's no pin on the d file. This queen was pinned in a sense to covering checkmate. Can we play guess the move? Yeah. You're guessing knight f3. I think knight f3 is the most natural response here for sure. It defends the pawn. Does it defend the pawn entirely though? It is attacked twice and not defended at all. Interestingly, knight f3, if knight takes, maybe we can play queen to d4. The computer just says you can just go ahead, take, give up the rook because you get the second piece, which is very valuable. So whether or not that would be played, still up in the air, to be decided. She hasn't played yet. She's thinking on the clock. There's Ben Feingold in the background. Shout out to Ben. Looking good in blue. What else? What else could she be thinking? She's got to be thinking about f4 as a candidate, as one option. Yeah, her king is very comfortable. If you don't think too much about it. Yeah, she's deep in thought. There's Ben again. Shout out to Ben. I wonder if they ID checked Ben, if he's 21 or not. I've never played in one of these tournaments, so I don't know the process. I guess your USCF has a date, right? A birth date, a year. What if you're like about to turn 21? Does USCF distinguish your age? I could look at Emily's page. I'm not even seeing. I know FIDE has birth year. I don't know if USCF does. I would assume it does. But I'm not seeing it. Emily is in the top 86 percentile for female ranking. That's pretty good. She's top 68% in her state. And overall, she's top 70%. So, yeah, North Carolina is better than average, is what I'm taking away from that. Okay, open session. No need to spam. by the time your game starts. That's pretty cool. Imagine celebrating your birthday. All right, looks like she just made her move, and it was f4. And now they're exchanging annotation. Someone maybe messed up. Who it is isn't exactly clear. Looks like she's copying. I don't know, like, how would you even notice if someone else made a mistake? Yeah, no F3, unfortunately. You thought he resigned? That would have been cool. I think I think blundering mate in one is cooler than resigning. Some probably would disagree with me on that. Emily messed up her annotation. Well, if that's the case, then he's very observant. He's even looking at what she's writing on the score sheet, paying attention to detail. That's the sign of a chess player that's not going to blunder mate in one, potentially. So far it's looking pretty good for black, but it's not clear just yet. Still lots of chess left to be played. It's a pro and a con for classical time control. You've got plenty of time to think, but if you're losing, you've got plenty of time to suffer. So hopefully Emily's not feeling too bad about it. F4, she protects her pawn in the center. Knight F3 is still very much on the agenda. I suspect it should be a good move. So didn't get it quite on that move, but I suspect Papa Botez's intuition should be right. So the best move here is F6, and I think that's just what he's played. So F6, Ben Feingold might stop by and scold our opponent. Ben Feingold might feel a disturbance, but the computer really likes it, and he's played it actually fairly quickly, I must say, comparatively to how much time Emily spent on her last move. I think this is a 90 plus 30 game. I should probably know more definitively, but it looks like they both still have a lot of time left on their clocks. I think they're both still over 90 minutes, actually. I think they've gained some time. That or they started with more time than I thought. Hello, Trudick. How's it going? Ben Feingold's also a good poker player. That's true. I've actually played Ben. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I've played Ben in poker in Vegas as a side event. I believe I want to say it was for the National Open, maybe 2021, which is coming up in June. I would love to go. Okay, so Emily has captured, and I'm expecting E takes. Opponent might be tempted to take with a knight. This would squander the advantage, actually. Interestingly. Nope, opponent did not take with a knight. They take back with the pawn fairly quickly. And now I think the bishop will come back, but the computer does not like that at all. If this is played, computer likes queenside castles. There's also, okay, bishop a3 is pretty rough. So, yeah, things could take a turn for the worse here. No, this is USCF, Dark Mine. Does the computer want rook to E1? It likes your idea. It likes the queen going to the E file. So yeah, Emily plays the very human, instinctive, natural bishop back to H4. And now there's a handful of moves here that are crushing for black. As I mentioned, queenside castles as well as bishop A3 check both come to mind. Another sneaky good move is queen to B6. And follow that up with bishop to A3. That's going to hurt. So black has their choice of good moves here, of good options. Spoiled for choice, some would say. So they haven't played yet. Lots of time on the clock. I think Emily's maybe just playing a little too quickly. I think things did not work out for her playing E5 very early in the opening. So if I could take you all back to this moment from the start of the game, we have the strong pawn duo in the center, and Emily decided to open things up too early, I'd say. I think she needs to focus on developing the rest of her pieces and castling before she goes for these trades. Queen d2 also, solid idea, right? Getting ready to castle. And then maybe going for e5 later on. So she goes for it immediately. And this already could see the trade of queens, which would not really greatly benefit her position. Instead, we see the queens on, and at this point, she needs to trade knights or she needs to connect knights to maintain her pawn structure. She castles, and there's no pin. It's a pseudo pin because the queen is guarding the mating threat. So here's really the last opportunity that Emily should try and trade queens at this point. She would still have a damaged pawn structure, but without the queens on, her king is a bit safer. So she maintains the queen, but her opponent doesn't blunder. So this is a little bit of hope chess, hoping that they'll make a mistake, but they simply don't make a mistake, and they play well. And now Emily's structure is just really not helping her position. This was not the move. So she did play f4. And the opponent's just been playing well. So at this stage, bishop h4, do we have their move? Did they castle queenside? Yeah. Castle long is a great top move from the opponent. So now Emily's played queen to e3. She's giving a tempo against the bishop. Probably this was better before she brought the bishop back, because it's a bit harder to defend the bishop when it's pinned. The king was on e8 at that time. So now it still really likes bishop a3. Connecting black's rooks, right? Developing a piece with a tempo, a check against the king. And that's also just a super annoying bishop. That's a great piece. So we'll see if black goes for it. Yeah, there's Tony from Chess Sharks. Shout out to the Chess Sharks. They've got a great chess community there in Charlotte. I've never been. I would love to go. Bishop a3 check on the board has been played. Big danger. You don't really want to go to b1. But that is normally the most common response. Luckily, Emily is guarding this check on b6. So this could be tempting, but the best is to go up to c2. This could be the purpose of why she played c3 many moves ago. And she's done it. So king to c2. This is the safest of her options, and she's found it. Now, she could use the open b file to start an attack. And she could try to flush out the bishop as well. So usually when you see double isolated pawns, you think, oh, that's not good, especially in front of the king. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And the tunnel is actually just the b file. So also, besides attacking the bishop, I just realized she's also attacking the a7 pawn, which would come with a threat on the bishop on a3. So now there's two threats that Emily has, also known as a fork. And it's not that easy, actually, to defend. Now, there is one move here that seems to do the trick. That move is knight to c5, blocking the queen on the diagonal as well as defending the bishop backwards, and the knight's defended by the bishop, the other bishop. So that's a fancy move. One major downside of double pawns is that you've created weaknesses. There would be no pawn to kick out the knight on c5, so that is considered an outpost square. The opponent doesn't have to find knight c5. The opponent could actually sacrifice the bishop and play queen to a5. And this check, I think, is pretty devastating. So the king would be forced to the d file, and then your king is going to get hunted. Yeah, she's in trouble here for sure. So let's see what black decides to do. There's a possibility. Also, you could give a check to get out of the attack. I was also thinking bringing the other rook to the e file also just looks very strong. And maybe just giving up the pawn. So it's not entirely clear. We have to wait and see what black chooses. Looks like they both have close to the starting time on their clocks. I think it's a little too fast. So if I could give some advice to Emily, you could use more time on your clock when it's a classical game. I think that's one thing that a lot of players do when they go from playing online to playing over the board, is they're not used to having so much time. There's players that even play too quickly online. If you play a rapid game like 10-0 or 15-10, players are ending their game with more than half their time left on the clock. And I think this is going to be potentially a similar issue. So we'll see how much longer this game lasts. It's very possible black could mess up. And we could still see hope yet for our hero here, our main character. Emily's got some threats. She's attacking the bishop and the pawn. A fork. Yes, this is a USCF rated tournament. The ratings that I have on the screen are their official USCF ratings. Our opponent with the black pieces is rated 990. Is that Miles in the background? I'm not sure. He's miles away. Good one, Fly. Always appreciate Fly's humor. Always thinking of funny things to say on the fly. Thank you for the follow, Shumo. Welcome in, everyone. For those of you that are just tuning in, this is Emily's second round of the Alto tournament in Charlotte. There will be another round later today at about 4 p.m. Eastern, as well as another round tomorrow. So be sure to tune in. We appreciate the support. Emily is playing a lot of over-the-board chess these days, so she's dedicating a significant amount of time not only to chess and to the game and improving, but also to streaming and making content. So please be sure to check her out on her socials. She's posting on YouTube, on Instagram, and I think she's doing a great job of really just becoming a solid member of the chess community and content creation in general. I don't know if you guys know this, but in Charlotte, she's been able to work with both Dina and Danya, as well as the Chess Sharks. But I'm very impressed that they did a podcast recently with Danya. I combined Danya and Dina to Donna, I think. But anyways, I just think that's really cool, and I definitely want to shout out Emily for her efforts, and I think it's really good content, and it's nice to have as a fan of chess and the chess community, and definitely a huge fan of Dina and Danya, and definitely enjoy their content as well. So really proud of Emily, regardless of what the eval bar says. The eval bar could never make me not a fan. And Emily's also, she's played some great chess as well. This game's not over yet, but I don't know if you guys were able to see Blood Queen's commentary yesterday of her first round, but Emily found some really impressive moves. If you haven't seen it, go check out that game. There were some times where Emily was worse, especially in the opening, but she fought back and actually had an advantage. She could have potentially converted in the end, and it settled for a peaceful draw. So a very back and forth dramatic game for sure. So regardless of the results, Emily's playing some exciting chess. She certainly has us on the edge of our seats here. Whether or not it's the best chess, it's subjective. Emily's playing her chess, and she definitely has impressed with her chess. She's gotten some crazy dubs, and regardless of the result, at the end of the day, she's learning, she's improving. It's all part of the process. So yeah, here, opponent, this is like their longest think of the game. They were ahead on the clock. I think now they're down on the clock for the first time. So they're using their time wisely here. This is a good moment to make sure that you don't mess up. Black is clearly better. Whether or not the players know that, I would suspect. But I think he might be a little worried about the pawn on a7. The bishop would be hanging. This bishop's hanging. This bishop could be hanging. So Emily has chances yet. She's making threats. Yeah, Bortnick's also in Charlotte. I don't know if he's playing here. How did her first game go? It was a draw. When you went to sleep, she was dead lost. That's why you can't sleep on Emily. You can't sleep on these positions because they can switch in the blink of an eye. Even in classical chess, the eval bar can swing. All it takes is a blunder. So why isn't she? Because it's not her turn yet. Black still has a chance for a defense here, and that's why they're taking so long. They want to make sure that they make their best move. And a lot of times, if you think too long, you can get into what's often referred to as analysis paralysis. You could overthink. So sometimes you find the best move and then you think about it too long and you'll dismiss it. You'll think of something else. Have you ever thought about a position for so long? You're calculating a line, you're thinking, you see something that maybe you don't like, and then you get to a point where you're like, wow, I've spent actually way too much time on this move and I should just do something else, and then you make a blunder. Raise your hand if that's ever happened to you. Because that's definitely happened to me, where I'm just like at the very last moment, I'm like, put anything out there, just absolute randomness. And then, oh man, I should have just done the first thing I thought. And I wasted all that time. You really get in your own head sometimes. So, chess brings out sometimes the best of us and the worst of us all on the chessboard. It's a beautiful game, really. What's up, Bamdeezy? Good to see you, dude. There's been Feingold. I don't know if he noticed that Black played f6. He's probably looking at it right there. He's like, oh, I gotta go look at it. Oh, oh, uh-oh. Oh God. He's analyzing our game. Emily's looking at him. Okay. He's seen enough. He's like, oh, this probably he's thinking that the position's equal because Black looks like they're doing really well, but they played f6. So, do you really want to win a chess game if it took f6 to do it? I don't know. The disappointment from Ben was immeasurable. Did you push f3? No. So Emily skipped f3 entirely. She went straight for f4, but Black played f6. So Ben didn't look too long on the look. The pawn is on f6 right there. The evidence is in the pudding. That's another interesting idea. Is this knight is defending this pawn? That huge weakness on f6. So if the knight ever moves, bishop takes would be a fork. Now, it's possible Black could trade rooks, but imagine a world where we put the rook on b1. This check would be kind of annoying, but imagine a world with me here. Allow me to worldcraft just a little bit for like a moment. Bishop is hanging, right? That bishop, who knows? The future is uncertain. Yeah, they could give a check right here, right now, but maybe you're helping white develop. Now, d-file is closed. There's chances. There's potential for tactics. This guy could flag on this move. I'm just saying. He's thinking so long. He could be stun locked. Long think, wrong think. That is what they say. What's the best move for Black? Joe Broke, good question. Knight to c5, blocking the queen on the diagonal, as well as defending the bishop backwards. Also opening up the rook for a rook trade. This is one of White's better pieces. These pieces haven't developed yet, and these pieces have developed. So half of White's I mean, the king is more developed than all these guys. Okay, maybe not more developed than the rook. The rook is doing pretty good here. So to trade off the rook would be an advantage for Black, especially knowing that whatever recapture is made would not be with the other rook because there's too much stuff in the way. That's why connecting the rooks is so valuable, is that if you trade a pair, you can replace it with the other rook. So likely knight c5, she would have to do something about this rook. Another great idea behind knight c5 is that it's covering these light squares in front of the king. And this bishop check becomes even that more devastating. The rook opens up. If we take their rook, they recapture with the rook, maintaining the control over the d file, cutting the king off. And this check we can no longer cover with bishop to d3 because the knight also contributes to covering that square. So if you look at it too long, knight c5 makes so much sense. And that's why our opponent is presumably mulling it over. So let's hope that they don't do that, because if they do that, then life's going to be tough. It's going to be tougher even. It's already tough for Emily here. Knight c5, the best move is to take on f6. That is a fork. That's also a free pawn. And I say free, perhaps with an asterisk. It's the computer's best move. So we'll see. Emily has a couple threats here. And check has been played. So this is the third best option. The next best would have been queen a5, giving up the bishop, which would have been quite a move for the opponent to pull off. Bishop to f5 check. Now Emily should block with her piece. And it looks like she's done that. So that is the best move. This is helping her develop. Bishop takes, she has rook takes, or queen takes. So we'll see. Black might not trade. Computer's calling out queen a5 yet again. Just trying to get in on the king's weak position. Magnus wouldn't save this. I don't know. We do have Magnus's stunt double in the chat. Oh, calling for an adjustment there. Putting the knight back on its square. Now, when you adjust a piece, you usually have to say adjust, or if you're feeling fancy, you can say j'adoube. But our opponent, he just pointed to the piece and had Emily do it, which might be the more polite thing to do, because it wasn't his piece, it was her piece. But I've also been told that you're not supposed to point. I don't know who came up with that rule. What's up, Nodule? Good to see you. Welcome. How's it going? Yeah, Emily's position, it's taken a turn for the worse, but she's still alive. So for anyone tuning in, we can start from the beginning here. We have both d4 and e4, and I think Emily, she arrived a little too early at the party. You know, the party wasn't set quite yet. So she reached out with e5. Probably should have developed more before going into this. Queen trade was declined. And here, black has a threat of capturing on c3. And Emily decided to castle long, lining up the queen and rook. Unfortunately, there's no mate because the queen still covers d8. And at this stage, Emily decided not to trade queens still. And the opponent did not blunder mate, unfortunately for us. So this is the position that Emily has been left with. Queenside castles now. And yeah, these bishops are checking us. So Emily blocks to trade. And yeah, opponent has decided that they wanted to start taking their time now. So let's see. A move has been played now. Bishop back to c5. Hitting the queen. Logical enough. So let's see where the queen shall go. Queen has a few options. You can move along the third rank. You can go back along the e file, or you can go back to one of these two squares. The computer actually does like queen c1 best, interestingly. But I suspect something like queen e2 makes a lot of sense. Maybe queen f3. Queen d2, you could probably rule out. You don't like being on the d file, probably. For example, if bishop takes, we take with the queen, and then any knight move is a discovery, leading to more trades. Yeah, Emily is underrated for sure. Her opponent also seems underrated as well, I'd say. After bishop g7, e5 is a move. Okay. Yeah, I still think she played e5. Yeah, it might have been I don't know. I don't know how much theory Emily knows. Um, I think she's being aggressive. I think she likes attacking, and it was definitely an aggressive idea, especially queenside castles, very aggressive, but it didn't quite pan out. So it's probably better to just focusing on developing pieces. She had a chance maybe to play queen d2 or bring her knight in or get her bishop out. But she jumped the gun with e5, pushing the pawn in the center, attacking a piece. But after the trade, it opened things up too soon. So she wasn't ready with her development, and her position has gotten a bit rough to play. So look at these bishops. They're on textbook squares. c5 and f5. They just control so much of the board. Really beautiful pieces. Attacking the king, attacking the queen, just causing problems for Emily left and right. Literally. So, yeah. And this is not a happy camper. The king, very exposed. Does the morning game tomorrow start an hour earlier or the same time? That is a great question. Allow me to double check. Okay, actually there's 2 rounds tomorrow. So the morning round is at 10 a.m. Eastern. So it's going to be 30 minutes earlier than today's round start. And the second round is also going to be an hour earlier. So today's next round is at 4 p.m. Eastern. And tomorrow's the later round is at 3 p.m. Eastern. So I don't know if Emily has more commentators for tomorrow. Hopefully she does. All right, and she has played her queen. Where to? She has played the best move. She went to c1. She wants to control some of these squares around the king. And she still has a chance to maybe double up on the b file. I think taking this bishop would be good for her if she's allowed, because then that will damage black structure significantly. Us London players. I didn't know you were one of them, Fly. How is this -4 if she's not down a piece? Well, it's only -4 if played perfectly. And essentially what that is saying is that black has the potential to gain at least 4 points of material with perfect play. So I could follow the line and we can see. So bishop takes, even if you trade like all of the pieces off, this structure is just really bad. So eventually these pawns will just be too weak to hold on to, and black could win that. But at the same time, the defense of the king is just very vulnerable. So probably black doesn't want to trade everything. Instead, they want to continue. So like rook h to e8 is a good example. Just controlling more squares. It makes it a little difficult for the knight to come out. The knight comes out, we could see the check now. But yeah, rook e8's not even the best move, or it is. Maybe it was liking queen a5. So let's see. Let's just follow this. Maybe we say knight f3, rook to e2. Probably we block, or it also likes king b1. Queen check is annoying. King a1, and now queen a5 it liked queen a5 also in this position. But you can see the black pieces are just ahead in development. So they're swarming our weak king. Lots of threats. Emily has to play really precisely. Knight d2, trying to just help defend ourselves. By the way, queen a2 is checkmate threatened. So if we go here, now there's bishop to e3. This is really annoying. The computer says we just have to give up the material at this point. If we block with the knight, there's still bishop to e3. Let's say we play here. Now it likes queen to f5. Oh god. Okay, let's say we go here. Now there's what? Rook takes d2. This is a shot. Rook takes, and now bishop takes. Our queen's pinned. So we're just losing material. Right? Let's say we don't develop the knight to guard e2, then the rook's never getting in. So king b1 now. And you still have a lot of the same ideas. Bishop e3. If that looks like a free piece to you, that's a tactic. So the defense just isn't there because our pieces don't have as much control. We have fewer options than black. Black has castled, and now they have all of their pieces developed, and our king has to dodge all of these checks. We're opened in the center, along the second rank. We're open along the b file. So we don't have the same access to black's king as black has to our king. Black's pieces are better developed. Their king is safer. Our king is weaker, and our pieces aren't as developed. And all of this adds up to a very strong advantage for the black pieces because of the extra options they have, the access to delivering checks. Our defenses are not going to be able to match that. So at some point, it breaks through, and we have to give up material to avoid checkmate. So hopefully that makes some sense. Black decided to trade here. Bishop takes on d3, check. Emily most likely will recapture with the rook, which she does now. And yeah. Black's turn. They could bring the rook in. It's a very solid move. It was one of the lines that we were looking at. The computer also likes g5, which I think is a little random. Just attacking the bishop. Thanks everyone for following. If you haven't seen Emily before, she's a great chess content creator in Charlotte. You should definitely check out her socials, her YouTube, her Instagram. She's putting out a lot of great content. She's collaborating with Dina and the Chess Sharks and Danya. So it's really nice that she lives so close to such a huge chess hub in America. Shout out to the Charlotte Chess Center. You're curious to see how Black will approach. Yeah, so they trade. Now, they aren't up material, which was pointed out. It's true. So, trading everything, it's not necessarily the best plan. So you have to leave some material on the board to create an attack. And as we saw, even after trading that bishop, Black has plenty of material to continue. So rook h e8, I think, is a move that I would personally play. If you look at Black's position, all of the pieces are developed except for this last rook in the corner, the only piece that hasn't moved. And the e-file is completely open. There's not a single piece on the e-file. That is a rook's dream. That is a lovely position to be. You're guarding against knight to e2. If knight f3, which is white's most natural development move, then you get in on the second rank. You're creating problems. So we'll see what Black decides. They took quite some time. Oh, wow. They're putting the other rook on e8. This is not a very good move because this rook is like standing outside thinking where his invite was to the party because he sees it going on. He sees this guy is living his best life. Sometimes you just watch others living the life that you want, and that's what this rook is doing right now. He's feeling a little left out. You could have had both rooks. This rook would love to teleport to where that rook was too. Both E and D files, not only are they the most central files, but they're also without any pawns. That means they're fully open files. And that's what rooks love the most. So a lot of developing your pieces in chess is just knowing where your pieces are best optimized, knowing where the pieces are going to be the happiest. And this rook is a little sad right now. So, okay. Rook from D to E8 played. Emily plays knight f3. She's finally opened up her rook. Her rook has a little bit of daylight now. But this also allows rook to e2 check. So that's possible. I was wondering if rook e2, rook d2, for example, now bishop e3. Yeah, it's annoying. So if she doesn't block with a rook, she could play king b1. And again, we've kind of looked at these lines just with the other rook. And it's not so pleasant because this king is just so exposed. Eventually, we're going to have to put something on d2. And then the bishop's going to come join the party. So we'll see. It'd be fun if the AI could... Yeah. All right, rook e2 check played. So we'll see how Emily decides to defend here. This pawn is also hanging, so that's why rook d2, I think, was the initial thought. But this bishop pen is very annoying. So we might just forego the g-pawn and move the king out of the way. But yeah, AI, I think, is pretty bad at chess. And I think it's more fun to watch people play. I kind of resonate a little bit more with humans. Hopefully no one suspects that I'm AI. You guys tell, am I doing a good job? Is this a Turing test? You must be AI. You prefer watching bots play chess? Yeah, it couldn't be me. There are Twitch channels that cover like computer chess championships, and it's like I don't know. I think when was it Alpha Zero came out, I think those were interesting games to look at because that was like a really revolutionary time that you could make a chess engine stronger than Stockfish because at that time Stockfish was God. Stockfish was the number one, and then to beat Stockfish, it was just mind blowing. So that was very exciting. But those games weren't live either. I think those were published. So I don't know. Um, yeah, I think someone asked me what my favorite part of chess is. Like, what's your favorite part of playing chess? What draws you? Is it the strategy? Is it like openings? Is it tactics? Like solving a puzzle? And I was like, I think my favorite part of chess is the social aspect, getting to meet people and talk to people and make friends. So, yeah, I'm in chess for like the communal aspect, the social aspect. I don't know like why the game of chess specifically. Like I mean I enjoy playing chess. I would rather like play chess on stream and talk to people than like play chess off stream. Yeah, look at all these people. Look, no phones. People just living life. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. No kids. I'm just kidding. No, I've never played in one of these tournaments, adults only. I've played in like every tournament there's been kids. I've played in some college tournaments, but they're college kids still, so I do an excellent human imitation. Nice. I haven't malfunctioned yet. Yeah, this it's called Alto, which stands for at least 21. So apparently they've been ID checked before they could register. You're sure there's a genius kid in there somewhere? It's possible. It could be that guy right there behind Emily with the floral shirt. It's a nice pattern. It could be. He could be 20. Why are the chessboards raised? Um, these are the DGT boards. I don't know why they're raised. Maybe there's like wires that go underneath them. No way Emily's over 21. She's at least 21. She might not be over 21. She could be 21 exactly. Could be. I looked at the USCF profile. I couldn't find the age or the birth year. Why not trade rooks here? So if she goes rook d2, she's gonna get pinned by the bishop. So she'll be losing. She wouldn't trade rooks. She would lose her rook. But rook d2 might still be a good move. Okay, she's played king b1. This is on paper the best defense. And we kind of wish that this pawn was still here. If only. Yeah, bishop e3 is quite the nuisance, a thorn in our side. So the opponent might take on g2, which would be not the best move. The computer wants black to go full speed ahead, full throttle. Queen a5. Just getting straight to the point. Threatening mate in 1. This move, queen a5, does. So we'll see if black finds it, if they go for it. It's very tempting to give queen b6 check. The king will go in the corner. And then maybe they'll go queen a5. But that sequence isn't as good. I think with the king on the corner, you're allowing potentially more defensive opportunities for white. So, yeah, black could go for something completely different as well. And who knows, maybe that gives white an opportunity to get their last piece into the game. Yeah, Nork folds. This is not Emily's best game yet. Would it ever be her best game? We'll have to see. Emily's certainly full of surprises. She surprised many with her queenside castle. And she probably has some more tricks up her sleeves. She is wearing long sleeves. This isn't a poker tournament, though. So, even if she had some aces in her sleeves, I don't know how much it would help her on the chessboard. She could pull out the pocket rockets, double aces. But who knows? Our opponent, it looks like they're also wearing sleeves, so they might have her covered. It is not over yet. It's very true. We'll end the stream when it's over, but the stream goes on while there's still hope. She still has time on her clock, and it's not even ticking. It's black's turn. We were speculating it's possible that our opponent could fall asleep and flag. It is early on a Saturday. It's not even noon for me yet. I should be asleep right now. I was joking with Emily before saying that if I had to choose one round today, I'd choose the later round. But lucky me, I got both rounds. So here we are. And yeah, regardless of what result happens here, Emily should be playing again later today. So losing a chess game is actually not the end of the world, which is a good thing, because otherwise the world would have ended many times over by many of us. Raise your hand if you've never lost a chess game. I've lost many. I've probably lost more chess games than a lot of people. It's certainly upsetting. Yeah, if you have like a positive attitude about it, I think it could be a very good learning experience. Of course, you play to win, so to not win is not meeting the expectations. But some people, maybe they don't play to win. Maybe they play to learn or play to have fun, and the result doesn't matter so much. Emily has decided she's had enough, so she's gotten up and left the board waiting for black. Black definitely is taking their sweet time, which I think is good. That's kind of the pace that I would recommend. I think Emily's been playing a little too fast. You've won every game, senpai? No wonder you're the senpai. I also think she can win this. I agree with you, Goldbuck. You lost about 5,000 games. You only lost one. How many games have you played? IO Joe. It's a pretty good record. Maybe you've only lost one game because you've only played one game. In Eric Rosen fashion, you'd rather get stalemated, or no, you'd rather lose than get stalemated. I guess if you're winning and then you stalemate, it is pretty disappointing. Wow, Queen A5, best move. Top shelf. Straight to the point. Threatening a good old-fashioned checkmate in one. And here comes Emily. She shall return to witness the mate in one threat. And there she is. He's pointed out his move. Now she's writing her move on the score sheet, keeping meticulous record of the game, ensuring that both sides are aware of what moves have been made, so there are no disputes. Anyways, she has to guard A2 by some way, shape, or form. And she can do so with the D2 square. Now, what she puts there, she has a choice. She has both rook and knights that could interfere with the rook on the second rank. The downside is if she goes with the rook, which is the better move, she's going to get pinned. You'd put the queen on D2? That was the secret hidden third option that I didn't think that we had it unlocked yet. I don't know if we've unlocked that potential. I don't know if we have enough skill points to cast queen D2. So, queen D2, there's this crazy move. Rook takes D2 just immediately. So, it's a little scary. But it is a move. A legal move, I should say. Beyond that, I wouldn't say too much more. She could also blunder mate in one. That is another option. I wouldn't recommend it. That is a possibility. What else? What else? What else? Perhaps, as Ben would potentially say. Yeah. Knight to D2. The computer's calling for rook H to E8, which was a move earlier. Yeah, the bishop would be a significant reason why we wouldn't want to play rook D2, but that's computer's best option. So what it likes is bishop or queen to D1, which gets us out of the pen. And if takes, we have queen takes, actually. So there's some hope yet, although not too much hope. We do lose a pawn, technically. What a bishop, though. Am I right? This king just wishes there was another pawn. But we don't get all of our wishes, unfortunately. Our wishes are limited. Okay, if we go here, I figure they could take on G2. No, they couldn't do that. We're not pinned anymore. That'd be kind of funny to see. What else would they do here, right? Computer likes queen f5 check, so that makes some sense. Yeah, I wonder if she'll find. I was considering queen d1 immediately, but this is mate in two. Mate in two in a few ways. Bishop a3, that's kind of a brutal mate as well. But queen d1 works after rook d2. The pen doesn't quite pan out. If rook takes, we have knight takes. And yeah, this is still really good for black. If queen check, we don't want to block with the queen. This was the line that we looked at earlier, that our piece falls because we're penned, we cannot retake, and their queen is defended, so they emerge victorious. Even if she loses a piece, though, it's not like the end of the game. There are many situations where you're up a piece and then you trade off all the pawns and then you're just up a piece and can't deliver checkmate. But typically up a piece with this sort of pawn structure, it's very difficult for white to trade off all of the pawns, and it's very easy for the side up a piece to win the pawns. So yeah, let's see if she finds rook d2 here. Let's see if Emily has a master class lesson in defense. Rook d2 is a nice little maneuver, right? You self-pin in a way, but you get out of it with queen d1. So there's hope yet. Hope yet here for our hero, our main protagonist, Emily. And even if she loses this game, it's part of her training arc. She has at least 3 more games left in this tournament. Also, Iojo saying they played 1 game and they lost. Oh, she's touched the knight. It's touch move. She has to put the knight there. She does it seemingly reluctantly, even. Bishop e3 is still a good move, I would say, but the better move is actually to double on the e file. So we shall see. They might go bishop a3. Bishop a3. I guess she would need to go to c2. Oh, she could go to d1. I forgot. Check, you don't want to go. You don't want to move the king anywhere, because you're getting mated on b2. So you would have to block with something. Either queen or knight. Okay, but knight d2 has been played. And yeah, bishop e3 is still a move. Bishop a3 is a move. Rook h to e8 is what the computer's calling for. Top choice. Next best, interestingly, bishop to b6. I don't know if I could explain that one. Maybe it's just threatening, yeah, queen f5 is pretty annoying. That is a little annoying, isn't it? But I mean, bishop to e3 also threatens queen f5. So I don't know why you would choose one over the other. Maybe bishop e3, we still just play queen d1. Oh, there likes queen c2 now. Anyways, we will wait and see. Black has been taking their sweet time. Also, Fly, if it wasn't obvious, I didn't get the reference. I'm sorry. I'm not quite on Fly's cultural level. But then again, who is Henry II? All right, I shouldn't have inquired. It's too much. I did join Phoebe's movie night yesterday, but it was a movie I'd already seen, but it was good. It's a good movie. For those of you that missed out, it was Fight Club. Very similar to Chess Club, actually, if you think about it. All right, Bishop A3 has been played. So the computer, interestingly, likes Knight B3. Knight B3, I don't suspect would be a move that Emily would play. So I'm expecting Queen D1. Actually, computer likes Queen D1 a little bit better now. Yeah, Phoebe did watch it. I don't know how much she liked it. I think she liked the plot twist. Sorry if I spoiled Fight Club for anyone. Never mentioned Chess Club. That's both rules 1 and 2. There is an omerta surrounding Chess Club. I don't know if I've heard that word. All right, Ben has returned to see how things are progressing. Hi, Ben. Ben's like, ugh, the F6 pawn is still there. Disgraceful. All right, Queen D1, Emily. Let's see it. Put some pressure. There's a world. There's a world where Emily can play rook takes D7, shocking the audience. There is a world. That would be quite the move. There's a world where Emily can checkmate on D8 if this bishop opens up. I believe. Imagine Queen D1, right? Just bear with me for a second. Rook takes on G2. Rook takes. King takes. Boom. Say hello and goodbye. Now, I know what you're thinking. Joe, they could just play Queen F5 or Queen B6. Or even Queen takes C3. And yeah, that is all true. But does Kenny know that? I don't know. Who's to say, really? Truthfully. She's yet to play Queen D1. But that is looking like the move. I think saying that there's a plot twist is a spoiler. For sure. Like if I told someone I was gonna go watch a movie and they're like, "Oh, not to spoil it, but there is a plot twist." I'd be like, "Okay." I feel like I didn't need to know that. Thanks for oversharing. No, I have not gone into a theater to watch a movie in what feels like years. But I heard there's a new film out called Sinners that people are saying is pretty good. Apparently, it has Michael B. Jordan in it. Sorry for the spoiler. Since COVID, I've definitely seen one post COVID. Hello, Physic. Good to see you. Has anyone watched Sinners? I'm too busy watching chess. Michael Jordan. No, Michael B. Jordan. What's going on with the Sinners promotion? Are you talking about in general, or are you talking about me specifically? I was just talking about movies. Because Phoebe did a movie night. She's been doing movie nights regularly as a subscription perk on Discord. So if anyone's a fan of Phoebe, I recommend to go check her out. Another great chess content creator. He do be Jordan, it's true. You're busy watching Joe? You must not be too busy then, because I haven't been streaming so much. I've just been commentating for Emily, really. You did not like Fight Club. Was did you watch for the first time at Phoebe's movie night? Did you leave early? Yeah, it was on Discord. You left it early. That's crazy. Anyways, that's okay. It's not everyone's thing. Michael Jeffrey Jordan? Is that Michael Jordan's real name? They just call him Michael Jordan. Do you think if Michael B. Jordan was more famous, people would then start calling Michael Jordan with his middle initial? Or do you think that they call him Michael B. Jordan because he was famous second to Michael Jordan in terms of age? Or is it both? Or maybe he liked having his initial in his name anyways. Do you think the B stands for Bruin? Plot twist? Just kidding. Yeah, 1047 is Emily's USCF rating. Her opponent is 990. Joe B. Ruin. It's my full name. The second string. Yeah, it'd be funny if Michael Jordan's middle initial was A. Yes, it is not FIDE rating. Apparently, FIDE rating doesn't go this low. I think that was a recent update. They've raised the floor. You don't care about the rating? Well, it's not easy to find a FIDE rated tournament in the US. What's the time control? I'm pretty sure it's 90 plus 30. Emily still has an hour on her clock. Okay. Yeah, it looks like an hour to like 50 minutes. It is Emily's turn. Her queen is under threat by the bishop, so she must find a defense. Most likely, queen d1 is the best move. Yeah. It's an hour to like 56 minutes. Which is kind of crazy. We're 20 moves in, and the position's pretty dire. But they have so much time on their clocks left. Is it her first tournament? No. Has the camera tilted? Yeah, we don't have a cameraman. This is just what was set up. I could maybe like rotate it a little bit if you want the board to be even. But I think we'll manage with what we have. Maybe the camera's level, but the whole building is shifted. It'd be kind of like a fun house or like a magic house. Have you seen those rooms where you can like change your perspective? Is the chat tilted? It could be. The Tower of Pisa. I think when you say tilt, I think of hockey. Like the ice is tilted, right? Like the puck is in one end of the ice. I'm not sure if that's what the term tilt comes from. I think I might have heard the argument that it's from pinball and you're like tilting the machine, but I don't know. I'll believe that it's a hockey term because I'm a fan of hockey. But that is kind of funny if you tilt the board, you know, it takes more energy to move the pieces uphill. So the board, you could argue, is a little tilted, but it looks like she has the high ground, which if you've seen Revenge of the Sith, you know how important that is. Speaking of movies, that apparently I think they're coming out with Revenge of the Sith again in theaters. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I might have just made that up, but I feel like I've heard that. Maybe someone can confirm. Any Star Wars fans? Do I live in the US? I do. I live in St. Louis, Missouri. I've been told that there's a chess club here. Oh, the anniversary of 2005. Okay. Monroe hockey table. Haven't heard of that. All right, we have a move. And the move is... Wait, what did she play? Where did her queen go? Did she play? She must have played queen c2, and now knight to c5 has been played. Yeah, I was hoping queen d1, it's just more aggressive, right? It puts pressure on the rook. It creates a threat, a problem. Queen c2, and we're putting ourselves into a pin. Knight c5 has just been played. I'm wondering if she'll take on f6. Probably not the best move, but a move nonetheless. Hello, Megan. Good morning. Hope you slept well. Reporting live from the treadmill. Wow. Burn those calories. Apparently, playing chess burns calories. I've heard that it's maybe over-reported how many calories. I think just existing in general burns calories. Obviously, playing chess takes a mind toll, so it does take energy to think. But how much more? I'm not sure. Maybe there are some scientists in the chat. I've also heard that everything on the internet is true. And I believe that was a quote from Abraham Lincoln. And he's been known to be an honest man. So I trust him. Planet Wars? Actually, only 10% more calories than normal sitting? That makes sense because you only use 10% of your brain. I found that out from a movie. And I think the movie it was science fiction, which has the term science in it. So it seems pretty scientific. Can you sit still and just think and never do exercise? There was a movie about that too. There was this guy, I think he was in a battle with another guy with a helmet and he could like bend metal. It was kind of like he was like a magnet, like a human magnet basically. You use 100% of your brain? Okay. All right. I'm getting called out here. Maybe the word fiction is more important in the term science fiction, but I'm not sure yet. Still to be decided. Super Magnet Man. That's like calling the spin-off of Star Wars Planet Wars, basically. Why not call it like Planet Battle? I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure there's sun battles. Anyways, okay, so here's the situation. Emily has gotten herself into a pickle, and she's trying to get out of it. Currently, her rook is under attack by a knight. Will she move her knight, or will she create a threat of her own? She could grab this pawn and attack the bishop. Probably I wouldn't do that. Moon Wars. That's also true. It's all fantasy. Looks like Emily's promoting Dina's spring camp. Looks like Feingold and Bornick and Caden Trough is there. Is anyone in the chat interested in a spring chess camp? I'm not in Charlotte, so I don't think I could do it. I've been part of a summer camp for chess. Chess spring break. Now we're thinking. Megan uses 100% of her brain. Am I paying for the plane tickets? For you, Norkfolds? It depends. How far are you from Charlotte? Knight b3 played. Okay, so she's offering a trade. I like knight b3, but there's a problem. There's a big problem. She has more things hanging than her opponent. The problem really is that it's her opponent's turn. Her opponent gets to eat first. And then she takes. And the problem is probably there's rook b2 intermezzo. And then she loses her rook. But the good news is if the opponent doesn't take her queen, She's actually back in the game. So this truly is the moment of truth. Although, to be fair, it's possible that the opponent doesn't play rook b2 intermezzo, but I have a good feeling Black has plenty of time to think this through and find it. No, rook c1 is not mate because the rook defends this. So takes. This would be a welcomed sight. Even that is like you could just give up a whole rook and it's still even actually because this is hanging still. But yeah, opponent has taken the queen. So this has been played. So Emily, she sees it from a distance. She will come and claim the queen. I think she missed the intermezzo. I think she missed rook b2 check. No, not time to resign yet. And you're not stupid, Jewy24. You just simply missed the rook in the corner. Usually when the bishops are in the corner, they call them sniper bishops. But this time it's a sniper rook. All right, now the check. Okay, so now this would be an appropriate time to resign. But we'll see. There's a potential where the king goes in the corner. I mean, technically, you could go to c1. But okay, no. Knight takes d3 with check. Okay, so king a1. Here's what I'm imagining. If we have any hope left, we push the pawn to c5. Knight takes, and then we play knight to knight to c4, forking the bishop and rook. Maybe we get something. Or, actually, I guess they... Yeah, the knight also defends the rook. Why did the opponent point the move out again? It's because she leaves the board, and so he's just being nice. He's trying to show her what his last move was so that she could write it down. Probably you wouldn't see that at a top level because grandmasters would just assume that you know what move was made. It's similar to beginner players saying check when they put you in check. I've heard many people think that you have to say check. Like I've played people over the board casually, not an official rated tournament, where I'll put them in check and not say anything because that's just kind of common. And then they'll do something else, not addressing the check, and then you'll say, "Oh, you can't do that because you're in check." And then they'll be like, "Oh, well, you didn't say check." So yeah, I think it's common. I think people like to say check when they're playing. Also, people say that it's a nice thing to do, right? They're like, you're just, just a friendly little reminder. No harm, no foul, right? Yeah, there goes her rook, unfortunately. So yeah, Emily put herself into a tough position, and she missed this. So we will see how much longer Emily can go. She is down a rook at this stage. So someone earlier, they were asking, hey, material's even, but the computer says it's -4. Well, Emily missed this. She had a better defense, but even still, it was tough. She had to play really well, and also her opponent has been playing very well as well. So it's hard to come back if your opponent doesn't make any mistakes. And Emily has just made the last mistake here, blundering an intermezzo check. It's easy to miss those kinds of things, but my main feedback would be that she wasn't ever in time pressure, right? So I think she could have thought through some of these lines and sequences a little deeper. No, she's not the only woman. You just see Dina just pass by on the right. Actually, Dina's probably looking at the game right now. Maybe I'll show you guys. There's Dina. Shout out to Dina. Dina with the hood on. She's got the merch. She's rocking the hood. But yeah, disappointing position for sure. And yeah, Emily, we'll see how much longer she can go. 2 women at least. Let me look at the tournament page. Let's see. Shout out to Dina, of course. They might be the only 2 women at the DGT boards. But I'm assuming most of these games are not on DGT. But of course, yeah, looking at the playing hall, I think that's another girl. I don't know if she's playing though. But there are women only tournaments. So like this is a adult only tournament. They have women only tournaments as well. So yeah, obviously there's a lot more men that play than women, but hopefully that changes. All right, she's finally taken the f6 pawn, putting that pawn out of its misery. She does take it as well with a tempo against the rook in the corner. Although this will actually help black finally develop that rook. But she does get a pawn. Seems a bit unreasonable to exclude children, in your opinion. And that's a fair opinion. I know people have other events that exclude children. It's a somewhat fairly common thing. And yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it's always up to the event organizer. So I've actually, so for those of you that don't know, my full-time job, I work at chess.com. I run the college chess league as well as some other responsibilities on our partnerships team. So if anyone's interested in getting into streaming chess, for example, I'd be a good person to reach out to. But I've had a lot of people suggest that the collegiate chess league should include high school students or even alumni or even faculty of the school, professors, and that's just part of our rules. We just don't allow that. You have to be a fully enrolled student. But I do think that having a high school league would be really cool. I think having an alumni league would be really cool. So at the end of the day, if you're an event organizer, you can come up with your rules. So I don't think an adult only tournament is too crazy. What's up, Cash? Welcome in. Yeah, I would love to start an alumni league for sure. Where are the Ducks? They're in Eugene, Oregon. But if you're talking about Cash's Ducks, you'll have to ask him. All right, so she grabbed the pawn. Opponent has brought the rook into the game. They've just taken her pawn. And now she can pin that rook. But the problem is the knight can come here. Also, the other problem is the rook is defended. Although the opponent might forget the bishop is overloaded. So maybe... Is she played? Yep, rook f1. Maybe opponent will blunder. Actually, knight d3 is not a blunder because the knight defends the rook again. Here comes the comeback. I love the positivity. Iojo. She's attacking the knight twice. It's only defended once. You're farming points for the Gandalf outfit. I think it's just the Gandalf hat. But maybe I could make a new point reward for the full outfit. That would take more work, for sure. There's Dina again. Dina moves with a purpose, both in chess and in life. Those were some swift moves. What's up, geezer? Do you really not have enough points, Megan, for the Gandalf redeem? Yeah, that redeem is just the hat. The full outfit, I would probably charge a little bit more. All right, fly once Gandalf. Why is Dina hiding? Is the fame so great that she needs to hide now? I don't know. I don't know if I would call it hiding. I like to wear a hood when my ears are too cold. The Gandalf tariff is crazy. All right. Here we go. Yeah, it's only 3,000 points, Megan. How many points do you have? I'm calling you out. You don't have 3,000 points by now? Emily will be a celeb soon. I would argue that she already is. All right, a fancy move here made by the opponent. Fancy in that it defends the knight indirectly. So, for example, if Emily were to take the knight with the bishop, then black could recapture, because if she captures the rook, then she gets back rank mated. Checkmate would be GG. So perhaps a trap being set here. She could play G6 or G3, for example, and yeah, the knight's not pinned because the rook is defended not only by the bishop, but it could also be defended backwards by the knight if they go there. Hey, geezer. Good to see you. I don't know when Joe will be back, but he'll arrive precisely when he means to. Yeah, opponent is definitely, I think, underrated for sure. I think opponent knows exactly what they're doing. Gandalf the blue. Yeah, I might just be a blue wizard. Okay. Knight to d3 played. So the bishop does defend the rook. We've got Ben Feingold here. He might be a little happier knowing that the f6 pawn was captured. So there's some optimism yet. Can't let someone play f6 and get away with it. I do have a pipe. I have the staff. I have Gandalf's staff behind me, and it came with the pipe. But the pipe doesn't actually work. Whether or not I would use it, maybe you guys can decide for yourselves. You were expecting the beard too. Did you see my Halloween stream? I did wear the full costume then. I don't know if I have that saved. I could send you a picture, maybe. Maybe I have one in Discord. Since November. Yeah, that was post the Halloween stream was the 31st, so you missed it by one day. It's kind of just unfortunate timing. Yeah, the whole stream was about not passing. All right, Emily. She should probably trade rooks, I would imagine. Although, to be fair, trading rooks is probably not the best chance to come back in the game. The problem is if she doesn't trade rooks, it's probably the fastest path to losing. So if you go maybe to the b file, for example, the rooks could double up on the second rank and threaten mate in one. There's a beautiful idea. Whenever the king castle's long and you have these squares open, you could put the bishop here and you could like sacrifice the knight, especially if you had like a bishop or some diagonal check. There's a common queen sacrifice. Queen takes c6, pawn takes, and then bishop comes in with mate. But that's usually if there's like a rook here and a knight here or something. Which unfortunately we don't have. So black could self-mate. If we go here and they go here and here and here, and then we go... Well, the problem with the knight here is it covers this. So we don't have a light square diagonal piece that could deliver check here. I don't know if you guys can really visually see what I'm doing in my mind. I should probably assume not. But the position that we have is so far off from that. The only resemblance is that the pawns are here, the king is here, and we have a bishop that could go here. Bishop here doesn't work for many reasons. One immediate reason is that they could take it. And the second reason is that we're now in a pen, so they could just play g5. So that's one thing. The second thing is that the king has a lot of space that they can run away to. The next reason is that we don't have this diagonal check. So there we have the resignation, the firm handshake, the pausing of the clock, and the resetting of the pieces. This was a rough game. Emily's opponent played very well. So Emily, I think, played the attack a little too soon. See here that the kings are being placed on the dark squares in the center. That is to signify to the DGT board that black won. So that's a little fun fact if you guys didn't know. So yeah, Emily actually is ready for an interview. If you guys would like to stick around and maybe ask some questions. Thank you, Adrian. So yeah, Emily's maybe taking us on a tour through the playing hall. Um, let's see. Let's see if Emily wants to do a call. All right, and there goes the stream. So let's see how we want to do this. Yeah, this is a local tournament. I mean, I'm guessing you could call it small. Depends on how you define small. I've seen smaller tournaments for sure. All right, we're gonna call Emily. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
I'm
your best game, but I think there's a lot to learn from.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I blundered mate, like a forced mate on like move 5 or something, but he didn't see it.
Maybe. Maybe not. Oh, is your camera on? Oh, are you there? Oh, hello. Oh, I don't hear you anymore. And you don't hear me. And she's talking, which is kind of funny. I can't hear you. She's gonna realize. Um, hello? Something happened. Let's see. Let's see if we can fix it. Oh, hi. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. But hey, she looks great. So if you got the Emily cam, she's gonna retry it. She's left and rejoined.
Oh, okay. I
Hello.
can hear you. Can you
Great.
hear me?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay.
What were you
What was
saying?
the last thing you say?
Um, that's fine.
What, what
What?
was okay? What was the last thing you heard me say?
Just start over from the top.
Okay, so pretty sure basically I underestimated my opponent. I thought that I would just take advantage of these like attacking chances I had in the beginning at the expense of my position and hope that he would blunder. And then, well, he did blunder in that he didn't checkmate me when I gave him the opportunity.
I don't think there was mate.
Really? I'm pretty sure there was after I took with a pawn. Like, okay, so I saw the knight exchange in the beginning, which this is like where all of my problems. Well, even maybe the long side castling. I don't know. Like just from the beginning, I was in a horrible position. But um, I saw the knight exchange happening, and I was like, I don't know. I still have this mate in one threat, and after I don't know. I had calculated something where like I thought he was gonna. I was like, if he takes any of these free pawns, like then I'm gonna checkmate him. And I was sort of relying on that, and then obviously he didn't do that, and then I just ended up in a bad position. But after I took with the pawn, stupidly, then I'm pretty sure he could have checked me with the queen on what is that like B
A3.
or sorry A3, yeah, and then he had the light squared bishop looking at that A2 square. So between, I'm pretty sure I couldn't have stopped that, but I might
Well,
have been wrong.
he hadn't developed his bishop yet to E6. If he checks you right away, you're actually better.
Oh,
So
okay,
it was really smart that he didn't move his queen anywhere because his queen was guarding the mate threat that you had.
right, right.
Also,
Uh,
there was a key word that you said you were hoping, and that's what we call hope chess.
I know. Well, yeah, it's the last time I will do that, hopefully. But
Um, I want to share a fun fact here. You just got subscribed to by none other than Kenny Campbell 24. who also just followed.
Oh, oh, there he is, my opponent.
So your
Wow.
opponent is tuning in. Appreciate the support. And yeah, he
Yes,
played very well, I must say.
that's good. I told him he played well as well. As well, I guess the last round he drew the person who's top in the section, so I think
Wow.
he's slightly undefeated. But I uh, also just played bad. So moral of the story: don't make positional sacrifices for hope threats.
Yeah, you played a little too early in the center when you should have developed more pieces. So when you initially attacked his knight, that's when like they could have traded queens too, but they decided not
Mm-hmm.
to. They just moved their knight and blocked the d file. That's like when you castle long. I think instead of pushing your e pawn and attacking their knight, I think just keep
Mm-hmm.
developing your pieces. Like queen d2,
Mm,
knight f3, just really simple. Get the pieces out, castle, and then you can push for like e5 and start attacking his pieces. But you weren't ready yet. You hadn't fully developed everything yet. So you were behind in development. And it's really tough when you're playing that sort of catch up kind of game because he's making a lot of
yeah,
threats and you have to react to that. And then also, yeah, you knew you should have traded queens because your structure was damaged. And so your king
right.
safety
Yeah.
caused a lot of your problems in this game.
Yeah, yeah. I think in the beginning I like kind of thought that I was ahead in development, which is why I was being like super aggressive because I didn't want him. I was trying to just like take advantage of that while I had it, but um then like he had just too many good options to defend and develop, and I was just behind. So yeah.
Yeah, so we can no longer underestimate our opponents and assume
Correct.
they'll make
This is
mistakes.
true.
We have
This is
to
true.
we have to play our best move regardless of who our opponent is.
Yes. Yes, this is true. And a good learning experience. So the next game, guys, we're gonna we will do that. We will not underestimate our opponent.
And we'll be
And
back in 3 hours.
we will, yes, with better moves.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I have full faith and confidence in you. This is a good game to learn from, and I think that you had a good game in the previous round to start, and you also have two more rounds tomorrow. So
Yes.
lots of chess left. Do you have a commentator or stream for tomorrow as well?
I do. Houseline is going to be commentating. So
Wow. Best for
yeah.
last.
I don't know. I don't like to say that anybody is better. You're all great. But the best games are being saved for last, guys. So
Wow.
I wanted to just keep you all on the edge. Uh, maybe a little sad, and then we're gonna just give you some really good games for the next three.
Yeah, this is part of your training arc. So a
Yes.
minor setback in the grand scheme of things. I think
Yeah.
we're all very excited. We're all rooting for you. We'll be there, and we wish you the best of luck. And I wanted to ask what your plan is for the next 3 hours to rest up before the next round.
Oh, I don't know. I might see what the others are doing. I don't know. Yeah, good question. I could maybe go home, but it's like an hour driving, so I don't know if it's worth
Wow.
it. So I may just go to lunch with some people and
Yeah, it sounds
and
fun.
do some tactics maybe. I don't know. Uh, we'll see. I'm not sure. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but I'm like overall I'm okay with this because I just did not deserve like even if I had attacking chances to come back, like I did not deserve to win it. So and then yesterday, actually I didn't get a chance to talk to Anushka because it was too loud and it was dark out, but um my opponent he was like straight from Russia, like speaking Russian and everything.
Straight
So
from Russia?
he said he was from the USSR when it was Soviet Russia. So I felt like I was an underdog in that game, and that was another one where it was started off a little rough, but I was overall happy with the draw on that. But yeah, we're starting a little down, but we're gonna bring our A game for the other games and not hope that our opponent will make bad decisions.
Yeah, I think if you focus on just making solid moves, if you see like okay, he could blunder a mate, right? But if you
Yeah.
see that he has some sort of defense or like maybe he doesn't have to blunder, then you shouldn't necessarily go for that.
Yeah.
But still, I think like threatening mate in one is like still good even if they have a defense. Usually those
Hmm.
forcing attacking lines are gonna pay out for you. Um, Also, shout out to Cash Carbon, another streamer tuning in, supporting. He just
Oh,
subscribed.
thank you.
Um,
Thanks.
and yeah, you had a lot of fans tuning in, Emily, a lot of people from around the world cheering you on. Um,
Great.
Definitely, I saw some people from Europe, I think probably still in the chat. Obviously, some fans from the States still. And it's really cool to see there's a lot of other streamers walking around behind you and checking out your game. I think the community really appreciates you playing and streaming and putting out content. And it's really cool to see you're just kind of another one of these awesome creators that's sharing the love of the game in Charlotte. So hopefully you guys can keep doing the good job that you're doing, and we're looking forward to your future rounds. I'm sure they're gonna be even better. So good luck.
Let's hope. Thank you, Joe. Thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you guys in a few hours.
Yeah, like 3 hours from now. So thanks everyone. We'll send you all off on
Thank
a
you.
raid, I think.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Bye, Emily.
Thank you.
Good
Bye.
luck. See ya. And that was round three. No, round two of the Alto tournament for Emily. And we will be back, like we said, in 3 hours. So stay tuned and stick around. I don't know if maybe Emily has a mod in the chat that could help send a raid, but I will find someone on my end to raid. Shall we raid Dina? Is she still playing? I don't know if Dina has a commentator though, but of course we still want to support. Ooh, Dina's playing a St. Louis Cardinals fan. What do you guys think? Shall we raid Dina or shall we raid someone else? Hey, Interglow. Thank you, Clowny Man, for watching. Well, I can't control Emily's raid, so when's the next game? 5 or 6? The next game, okay, looks like we are raiding Dina. Next game for Emily is at 4 Eastern, so it's in 3 hours. And I will be back again commentating, so stay tuned. Be sure to check out how she does in her next round. She's going to improve. I'm also going to raid Dina then. All right, thanks again, everyone. I'll see you all in 3 hours. Take care. And if I don't see you later today, hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow.